We are now being joined by lawyer and public affairs analyst, Dr. Kayode Ajulo. Kayode Ajulo, thank you very much for joining us on this Live, the Sunday talk show here on the Arise TV channel. Well, I've seen some of your comments. You've been very prolific lately, particularly with regard to Vice President Osinbajo, Yemi Osinbajo, and how he lost the, the nomination of the APC, the All Progressives Congress, the ruling party of Nigeria. But the more urgent issue that I want you to comment upon is this idea of placeholder. The INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission, gave a deadline of Friday, June 17, and said, look, beyond this threshold, you cannot any longer tell us who your followers are. But we've had people saying, okay, this man is a placement holder. In Yobe North, we have seen that. In other places, we have seen that. In the presidential election, we have seen that. And then we have also had the case of Machani, who is supposed to be a placeholder, saying, no, he's not stepping down. So what exactly is the import of Section 31, Section 33 of the Electoral Act 2022, and how are those sections different from the Electoral Act 2010, now repealed?
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Abate. It's always a pleasure to be with you and to be interviewed by you. Well, the issue of placeholder, like you mentioned, I would like to believe it is basically on the issue of nomenclature. And I believe, politicians and the journalists sometimes, at this time, it is expected to have several nomenclatures, several new meaning and new words. But it is basically as simple as it is. It has been there for long, and if my memory could help me, since 1999, we have been having this arrangement like this. Placeholders, if that is the word we are using now, is where you have a candidate is nominated and temporarily, particularly to meet up the deadline, and whatever name you call it, remains a candidate. And it is now left, depending on the arrangement you have with the placeholder, sometimes it's called surrogate, to how and when the substantive, as it is being used in party politics, is found, and there will be a need for the withdrawal. Don't forget that after nomination, the Supreme Court has come that even the vice, in the case of Faleke, Supreme Court come to say that vice, a deputy governor, and the same thing like vice president, nominated remain a candidate. And that is why Section 31 comes in. Section 31 talks about at what point and the manner in which a candidate nominated can cease not to be the candidate. And it's only two. The first one is if he decided to withdraw, or if by the reason of death. I pray our politician will not be thinking inward to start killing themselves with this fact. So, but as it is, placeholder is expected based on arrangement, its internal arrangement, if there's a need to find a substantive candidate to withdraw. And in this 2022 election, the condition, it is not only the mere withdrawing, it must be in writing, that has to be sent to the party, and which we have to be sent to the Independent Electoral Commission, that's INEC, not later than 90 days to the election. And that is what the law is. So as it is, our law did not recognize placeholders as being called. What our law recognized only candidate, and candidate is at liberty to withdraw from the race, and that is what it is. And there is two distinctions that I think one needs to make there. There is one under Section 29, the kind of candidate that may do this, and the one under Section 31. The one under 29, that means that because there are two ways we can nominate a candidate for an election. The one that there must be a primaries. Most of the time, that is the principal, that is maybe the president or governor. Because that one, it has to be a primary which must before be nominated by the members of the party. Then there will be primaries. Then the second one, after emerging as the presidential candidate or gubernatorial candidate, the law allow whosoever that is presidential candidate or gubernatorial candidate to now nominate. This one is about nomination. Now, when it comes to those that have been nominated, if by any reason they decided to withdraw from sending their resignation withdrawal letter, what the law requires is for the position to be filled by another nomination, not election. But if it is the principal, for example, presidential candidate withdrawing from election or by reason of his death, there must be another primaries. I think that is the distinction that I think we need to make. But as it is, by and large, our laws allow withdrawal, and anybody based on internal arrangement can withdraw at any time, not later than 90 days. And that is what Nigeria needs to understand. Though we have been reading different permutation, different authorities saying that is not it is, but I think I've stated it as it is.
Okay, yeah, thank you for doing that, but I would like us to tie it to concrete, specific cases that we're dealing with. In the case of Yobe North, senatorial district, we're told that Ahmed Lawan, the chairman of the National Assembly, that the APC has submitted his name. But the man, who said he was the one that took part in the primaries, that no, nobody can do that to him, he doesn't want to leave. That is the authentic candidate. We have also had a similar case in Katsina with regard to a former senator, who says, oh, somebody must step down for him. And the man is saying, I'm not stepping down. I'm a human being. I can also be a senator. Okay? Now, if you go beyond that, you also have at the presidential level, persons who have been anointed, whose names have been submitted as presidential running mates. And some of them have also announced themselves. Doyo Kukwe has been all over the media in the last 72 hours, saying I'm the nominated person. Okay, if Doyo Kukwe says, I'm also good enough to be vice president of Nigeria, nobody can remove me. And in the other parties, the placeholders, Ibrahim Masari Alaji, that has been chosen by Bola Tinubu, also says, no, I'm not going anywhere. What does the law say? Within the purview of Section 29 that you have quoted and Section 31 that you have quoted. Can anybody just say, well, if you have submitted my name, the new law, because the argument is that most people don't know the difference between the Electoral Act 2010 and Electoral Act 2022. What should we know at this point?
Well, thank you very much. Please permit me to take it from the rear. Take it from the last scenario where we have those vice presidential candidates. First one from the APC, where Alhaji Masari, Honorable Masari, a gentleman, has been nominated as the running mate to Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, and the one from the Dr. Doyo Kukwe, someone I have a high regard for, who has announced that he is the deputy or is the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party. Now, the issue here is this. As far back as it is the law that when it comes to nomination of the running mate, it solely depends under the hand of the candidate, that is, in this case, presidential candidate, has the sole power and authority to nominate whosoever that will run with him. If you remember the case of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and when during the time of Obasanjo, the Supreme Court has really come out to say it is the candidate that can nominate. And after being duly nominated, like the issue of Alhaji Masari, it is at risk to change that nomination. Whosoever that may change it, it only relies and rests on Alhaji Masari. It cannot be forced because the withdrawal here must be voluntarily. There's nothing like involuntary withdrawal. So what I may say is the party, APC, and the flag bearer, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, run a risk of wait for what Alhaji Masari is going to do with that nomination. Before, it can be, party can quickly do anything, but now with this extant provision of the Electoral Act 2022, it has already, there's a procedure that must be followed. Under the hand of the nominee, that is Alhaji Masari now, must be sent to the party and to the INEC before such withdrawal can take place. And the same thing with the issue of the Dr. Doyin Okupe. Though I believe it must be Peter Obi that must do the nomination, I don't believe that it has to be something that has to be announced by the nominee itself, the purported nominee, to have been nominated. If there must be anybody that needs to nominate, it has to be the party flag bearer, which here, in this case, Peter Obi. But since someone coming on the national TV to say I'm nominated, I believe that is not what it is, except there must have been another thing. Now, unfortunately, Governor Peter Obi has been out of the country, so I may not know when that nomination has taken place. But by and large, if that nomination is right and proper before the law, Peter Obi to run the risk of having a good understanding with Dr. Doyin Okupe, because if he has been nominated and duly nominated, it resolves with him, lies with him on how a manner it can be substituted. Substitution is not what you always take place before. The substitution must rest and is only with the nominee, that is the running mate, and it has to be in accordance to the law. Then to the other one you mentioned about what happened in Yobe State Minor, up to now I'm here to really have a full briefing of what really happened. And like you must know, I'm a lawyer, and I believe if one is properly briefed, one may be able to give a good legal opinion on that issue. But as you see it from the face of it, we're not aware of any time the Senate President Ahmed Lawan ran or even pick a form or have any primaries to be elected in the primaries to be a senatorial candidate of any party in Yobe State. But it is shrouded in secrecy. I think as time goes on, particularly this week, we know what it is. And even in this one, I don't think he can make any arrangement, so-called political arrangement with the other man, that's Machina, because this is not about a donation. There must be a process. The process must start with primaries, and primaries has been held. Ahmed Lawan except maybe there will be a new factor to show that Ahmed Lawan take part in that primary. Not only taking part in that primary, that he won the primary, but for such candidature to be donated to him is not known to the Electoral Act, and I believe that is the position of the law. But like I said, this is something that needs more interrogation. This is something that we need to really check to know what actually the fact and the particulars of each case.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Ajulo, for helping us to clarify the import of Section 29 and Section 31 of the Electoral Act 2022 in the light of developments within the polity. Better I'll ask you before we move on. You were a strong supporter of Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. Yeah, you were all over social media saying he's the right man, but he lost out. Okay, are you supporting the man who got the ticket? Yeah,
I don't want to believe that Professor Yemi Osinbajo lost out. There are some times that you win the battle, you may lose the war. I want to believe this is what happened. He gave a good account of himself, and the Nigerians have seen that this is the real presidential materials, and in every ramification, he remains the winner of that primaries. Thank you very much.
Okay, we don't have evidence to that effect, but very quickly, your comment, very briefly, on the Ekiti election, where the APC, ahead of the general elections in 2023, has shown that, well, it's still capable as a party of winning landslide elections, even if the reports from the media, from stakeholders, indicate that there was vote buying, there was some underhand tactics dominating the process. Quickly.
Well, unfortunately, the report coming from Ekiti, in Ekiti now, people supposed to be dancing and celebrating, have a successful election. But the report coming out, not only from the media, from the stakeholders, mind you, partly from Ekiti as well as from Ondo State. A lot of people have been calling. I've seen a lot of media posts, and even EFCC had made a lot of arrests of this issue of vote buying. It is a sad day for democracy. As it is the military rules we are always afraid of because they use jackpot and gun. But now, in a situation where politicians are using money in the name of vote buying, is as see the same thing that a coup is being taking place. And I believe this is exactly what happened in Ekiti. And it's expected there must be a need, an urgent need to reverse this case. Because in this, as it is, votes don't count again. It is what you have in your pocket. This morning I was in church. The bishop talked about dollar politician buying vote, and exactly it happened in Ekiti. I think it needs to be condemned, and there must be an urgent need to reverse this situation. I believe we should reverse this. Okay,
well, opposition views expressed, and you have the right to express your views as an opposition person. But thank you very much, for joining us on this Live, this Sunday talk show. Kayode Ajulo, thank you very much indeed.